Okay, before starting the next lecture, I would ask, do you have any question regarding last lectures or assignment?
No, ma'am.
Okay, assignment and lectures are clear. Have you started working on assignment or not?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. Okay, then please do start, because this is the lecture that I'm starting today is for your task number 2. So before the assignment briefing of task number 2, please complete your assignment number 1, okay? So it would be easier for you. So today it's lecture number 4, and now I'm going to start with the topics of your assignment number 2. So listen carefully, and if you don't understand, please ask me right away. So our first topic is critically assess the vulnerability of computer network security in a chosen organization. Now you have to assess the weaknesses of computer network security in an organization. What can be? So in this subject, we will read about in this lecture about network vulnerabilities, network vulnerability analysis, network exposures, conducting network vulnerability scans, vulnerability verification and reporting, impact of cybersecurity, network security concepts, network security threats, and security attacks. Now, first of all, we will start with what is a network vulnerability. Now, who will tell me that what does it mean by network vulnerability?
Weakness in a system
Yes,
or this
network's
design that could
weaknesses.
be exploited by an attacker.
Good. Okay, so it is the weakness in the network or through which any virus or hacker can be entered. That can be a backdoor for them also. So as per the ISO IEC 27005 set of standards, vulnerabilities can be classified according to the type of asset they belong to. Thus, your enterprise can deal with. The type of asset means the type of virus that can harm them. Now, for every situation and for every organization, the type of assets are different. When you have just only your personal details, you have different type of security issues, but when you are working in an organization, there are different type of attack that you should be aware of. So our enterprise or organization can deal with, there can be software vulnerabilities, there can be hardware vulnerabilities, there can be personal vulnerabilities, like someone's personal data could be leaked, or they can be blackmailed to give their organization's detail, for example. Some organizational vulnerabilities, it can be their working procedure, or they're training their staff. Weakness can be, or the network vulnerabilities, or they have not a strong security system, or they don't have a private network, so anyone can enter to their network. So a network vulnerability is a weakness in a system or its design that could be exploited by an attacker to breach a company's security and set off a cyber attack. Depending on where said weakness is located, we can classify network vulnerabilities into two categories. It is an internal and external also. Now, what is an internal? Internal vulnerability is usually caused by misconfigurations, bugs, poorly written code, or even employees. That is the inner work, you can say. Whatever that is in your system is internal network vulnerability. It can be that you haven't updated your security system, or there are errors that are already there and you just ignored it, or the code written, for example, the application code or is not well written, so as per the security purposes. And even employees who handle that network. And what is external? External network vulnerabilities are represented by the device or a platform or a company uses daily. Now, what can be an external network? It can be your device, it can be the floppy disk, it can be USB drive, it can be hard drive, or whatever you use in your company, an external device, a hardware, you can say. That is the external network vulnerabilities. Now, there are 10 common types of network vulnerabilities. We will see that. First one is vulnerable mobile device. Now, obviously, mobile device can be a vulnerability because if you are using your mobile device as your work for your work, all of your files and folders and some data are stored in it. So there can be stealing, there can be hackers who can hack your device, and someone can send malicious viruses, or it can be a spyware. So it is a vulnerability, so you shouldn't be carrying your mobile devices which has your personal, can be because you have to use your mobile, so obviously your personal documents can be in it, but try not to save your personal things on that mobile that you carry everywhere, and especially your company's information you can't carry with you anywhere. Mobile devices are present in the cyber environment of any company, be it on premises or remote. Employees either bring them with them to the office or use them for their work as part of the company's buyout policy. Unfortunately, there are many ways in which smartphones and tablets can become network vulnerabilities. A common issue with mobile devices relates to physical theft. When an employee connects their phone or tablet to corporate network and uses them to access sensitive data, this opens up the world of possibilities of cyber attacks. Thus, stealing such devices is an opportunity some malicious actors will take. Mobile device is number one of network vulnerability because it has more chances to leak your data or to hack it. Now there are I would say security reasons are very high because the cyber crimes are on a top. Now even there is a device or a USB, just you can connect to any device and all of the data will automatically connect, or some hacker will automatically can enter to that device, and he can copy paste or delete or whatever he can do to your data. Second one is exposed IoT devices. Now internet of things consists of interrelated computing devices with the ability to transfer data within a network but are outside the spectrum of what we generally consider as a part of the system. A non-premises office makes no exception, as many companies have IoT devices such as smart thermostats, surveillance cameras, or even refrigerators. Now internet, everything that use internet or some type of internet connection are vulnerabilities. Even if you are not there, even if you are sending some email, so your network could be hacked. Any company that uses IoT devices such as smart thermostats and or surveillance cameras can also be get hacked, and they can see what is happening. Third one is USB flash drive. It is the we almost we doesn't have many much of our personal data through which we can be blackmailed in our devices, because we use our laptop for daily uses for these assignments or all these. But still, when we use any external device to our computer or our device, we first scan it, or we avoid using any USB flash drives to our systems. Why? Because it can contain virus, or it can contain some files, malicious files that can harm your computer. It can slow down your computer working, or it can harm your windows, or it can harm your data also, or it can affect even your one of any system. While USB flash drives might seem completely mundane, is not a bit pedestrian. They can contain malicious files that auto install once the device is plugged into the computer or a laptop. As I have discussed before, that cyber crimes has increased, and they have very much new techniques that they doesn't need to press any button. They just need to connect any USB flash drive to your system, and all of your data could be hacked. Then number 4 is misconfigured firewalls. After the border router, the firewall is the next line of defense your data as against malicious third parties looking to exploit a network vulnerability. A powerful network security system that blocks unauthorized access to a computer or network. It is used by many organizations and individuals as part of their overall security strategy to protect their data and devices against internet-based attacks. Security antiviruses are important, but firewalls are most important thing that you should have in your systems, because it can prevent any other to enter into your personal space. You can build a walls. Why it is called a firewalls? Because we can't go through firewalls. So it is a like of a boundary that is secured. Anything which is in that boundary is secured. Single factor authentication, that is on number 1. I would say why it is on number 5, I don't know, but it should be on number 1 because many people, even if they are in their professional lives, I have seen them personally. They have a very weak password and single finger factor authentication, and they have connected their each and every social sites with their one device. What does that mean? If their device is hacked, they can log in or they can do anything related that is attached to their computer, whose authentication is through their laptop or devices, or their passwords are same. Some people maybe write their phone number or date of birth to each and every of their social sites passwords. So if one password is leaked out, it means their whole system has been hacked. Anyone can enter to their social sites also. So single factor authentication is a method of authentication that relies only on one factor to verify the identity of the user. This method is usually used for authentication in online banking, social media, and other services. The most common form of SFA is username and password. And that is the most easy way to hack anyone's laptop or their mobiles. Inadequate passwords, like I told before, that very weak password they use, uh, like everyone can guess. It can be someone's your loved one's name, your loved one's date of birth, or your date of birth, or your closest person's date of birth or name, like that, or your phone number. Don't make the passwords too much clear to each and everyone. I would say not even your siblings, because it's not that it's harm to share your password with your siblings. It's like that it becomes very common that they can say your password in fun and joy, and your password can be leaked to anyone. So a lot of employees create inadequate passwords because they overlook or are not aware of associated security risk. Unfortunately, this can become a huge issue because hackers can easily break into work accounts and steal private information. Giving them an accessible gateway into the company network, a strong password is your enterprise first line of defense against a cyber attack, which is why having one that is impossible to crack is essential. Make your password mix up, means alphanumeric, so no one could guess. Now even you can pick up your loved one's name and date of birth and place them to and fro and mix and make a mixed alphanumeric number, or any number you can take. It should be alphanumeric so it's not easy to guess. Then number 7 is poorly configured Wi-Fi. Both the modern office and remote workers rely heavily on the use of Wi Fi internet connections as they allow for devices to access the web without any wiring. However, a poorly configured router or even one that hasn't been updated from its default factory settings can become a network vulnerability very quickly, allowing cyber attackers entry into your corporate systems. You should secure your Wi-Fi with a strong Wi-Fi password and don't let it public, because through that Wi-Fi anyone can enter into your system through the network and it can harm your data. Then on number 8, it is unsecured email services. Email services are frequently used by business to send and receive data. Naturally, this sometimes involves confidential communication containing financial data that becomes walking target on these platforms due to practices such as social engineering, malspam, and phishing. At the time of COVID, many people were working at home, from home, and they used to send their work through emails also. So now you're sending emails. No, emails can be in a patch system. If there is something really important, don't send those information at once. Make it small partitions. If one of the part is misplaced or is been hacked, your others data should be saved. Secondly, obviously you receive data also. While receiving data, first of all, you have to see that whose email address is this, who is the person, figure out the person's ID, make a contact list that these people are from organizations, or this email ID is for my organization or for my business, and I have to receive only authenticated email IDs that is of my colleagues or people from my organization, because anyone can send you a fake, you can say a phishing email that may contains a virus, and that can hack your email account, and they can see and use all of your emails. Then next one is outdated software. In the past, software companies would often release a new version of their software every few years. This was done to introduce new features and improve the new user experience. However, in recent years, software companies have been releasing new versions of their software more frequently. This is done to fix bugs and security vulnerabilities that are found after the release of newer version. Now, any one of you, please tell me that why companies, security companies, software companies update antiviruses. What could be the main reason, or invention of or launch of a new antivirus software with different capabilities? Why they are doing that?
to keep themselves away from the attackers.
But they have antivirus, but why they're updating it? Why they're adding new things? What is the main reason? What can be the main reason?
To be more incorporated,
They update
because a
their
software update
version
means to say,
because they can
Ma'am,
expect a newer version of hacker or a hacking process or a virus. Because if we are making something, or if the number of crimes, I would say the number of protections also increase with that. If there should be no crime, then why would there be an security or protection, right?
ma'am, your question was that regarding this software updates importance, right?
Software,
Like,
yes, updation.
why
But
is this
why do they
important?
update? What is the need of that updation?
Ma'am, I think that to enhance the existing features and add the
But
new
why do
security
they need
features
to enhance
fix
it?
bugs.
Why do they need to enhance it? Because they may have seen some new virus can come, or some new hacker, I would say a new technique of hacking. That is why they release a new software updation, right? A new feature to
Yes,
prevent
ma'am.
that virus. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
understood?
Yes,
That
ma'am.
is the main reason. Then number 10 is insider threat. What is insider threat? What do you think?
Maybe someone is leaking information.
Yes, a person who is in your company and is working for another company, that is stealing the information from inside of its company and selling it, the information. That is an insider threat. Sometimes a cybersecurity incident is not caused by a flaw in architecture or poorly written line of code, improperly configured software, or even unpatched application. Every now and then, the true culprits are the people in your organization. Insider threat is by far the most dangerous network vulnerability due to the human factor behind it. Employees themselves can become a liability to your enterprise's digital well-being, either inadvertently or intentionally. Now, there can be a person that doesn't want to leak out, but he has made some friend and he shares all of their company's secret with that friend just because they are friends. He's just discussing. but he doesn't know that that friend can also leak that information. That is non-intentionally, but someone do it intentionally also to gain. It can be for money, or it can be for a better position in another company. So these are the 10 types. Network. Next, we will see about network vulnerability analysis. Okay, now have you understood about network securities? Do you have any question regarding network vulnerabilities?
No, miss.
Okay. Network. Next is network vulnerability analysis. How to see that there is any weaknesses. Now, because it is important, we will work on network vulnerability when we will know that how we can find it. What is the vulnerability? Vulnerability analysis play a significant role in protecting an organization's technological system against hackers and various forms of cybercrime. Put simply, vulnerability analysis is a systematic review of security weaknesses in an organization's information system. Vulnerability analysis works as a form of threat assessment as it is used to evaluate how susceptible a network may be to future cyber attacks or attempt hacks. Now, several threat assessments can be used to test the existing security of an organization's technological system. Some of these include host assessment. Now, we have to do an assessment to see that what is the weakness of our network. By using it, or by using any third party, or by using that software as an user or as a customer, we would see as a customer, or we should have a mind of hacker, that how our software could be hacked. Now the tests include host assessment. The person itself make a host. Now he is a host and he is using that software or that network. He will do an assessment. Then network and wireless assessment. Assessment with network and without network. It will see that if there is any weakness. Database assessment, you will go through all of your database and application scans also. Running threat assessment is highly beneficial in protecting a company's IT infrastructure. Some risks that can be addressed through vulnerability analysis. Overall, vulnerability analysis is just one element in the larger domain of ethical hacking. Ethical hackers work to legally and deliberately break into the company's network and systems with the goal of testing the company's existing security and defenses. Now we will hire a hacker, or a professional hacker, a legal hacker, who will use our application or software or our system to see that from where a hacker could be entering into that system. He will address those vulnerabilities. He will not ruin your database, or he will not ruin your data or your system, but he will see that what are the risks, what are the weak points of this system, and legally, and then he will break into that networks, and his goal will be to test them and to tell them that these are the existing security issues, and from this you can build your defenses and you can protect your data. Then next is, what is network exposure in network vulnerability? Network exposure or service exposure within the network domain means making network capabilities such as data and network services easy available for communication service providers and third parties. Your communication should be good through your customers or your employees or the users of that software, with assigned security and data integrity policies. Now you have seen that when you open any software, or you have installed some application, they always show, or most of the apps show the privacy policies, that they can enter, they need your media to be accessible, they need your calls and data to be accessible. Is that okay? They can use or not. So now, with assigned security and data integrity policies, network data and resources can be accessible for different ecosystems to enrich and innovate enterprise application. That is network exposure. That your network or your application is being exposed, and they have a level of communication. They want a level of communication, and because of that communication, they need some of your data to be accessed, and they have some policies also. Network exposure is critical to achieve programmable networks that can communicate with all IoT devices, handle edge loads, and introduce the requirements of new FG use cases. For example, XR, smart manufacturing, automotive sectors, and other businesses also. Now, next one is vulnerability scanner. What is scanner? Who scans each and every part of your yes, Abu Bakr?
Miss, can you explain the previous slide again?
Okay. Network exposure means that network allows their users or any third party or their employees to communicate, to easily communicate and see their services, or easily can use their services. For that, they need some policies that to be acceptable. Like you log into any application. For example, you have you have installed a call recorder app. Now, what will call recorder app will ask? It will ask for your calls or your contacts to be shown, right? Now, that is an authenticated app. What if it can be an virus app or a hacker's application that can hack into your system and take your all contacts, right? It can be, but there is written that it is protected app. So they need to access to your data and call records also to record those calls. So the communication and the communication levels with the third party and with security purposes and policies. So your data will not be leaked, but we need this data, right? That is your network exposure. Now, do you understand it?
Yes, Miss, got it now.
Okay. Next is vulnerability scanner. A vulnerability scanner is a computer program designed to assess computers, networks, or applications for known weaknesses. What do scanner do? It scan each and every part and show it to you. So now vulnerability scanner will scan your system and show the weaknesses. Those scanners are used to discover the weakness of a given system. They are utilized in the identification and detection of vulnerabilities arising from misconfigurations or flawed programming within a network-based asset, such as firewall, router, web server, application, or server. It is like, you can say, like when you run antivirus, they show all of the list of your viruses, that these are the viruses and you need to scan it. So vulnerability scanner scan your system or your network, and they tell them your weaknesses. Either it is the weakness into your firewall you have to update, or your router is not good, or there is some issue with your web server or application server. Now, what are the best practices for conducting vulnerability scans without disrupting your network operations? Now, to perform something without disturbing your whole network, how it can be. Now, vulnerability scanning is a crucial process in threat and vulnerability management, as it helps you to identify and prioritize the weakness into your network and systems. However, if not done properly, it can also cause some unwanted side effects, such as your network can slow down, it can some false positives, that an answer will not be good, or there will be false answers of your research, or false notifications, or even system crashes. In this article, we will show you how to conduct a vulnerability scan and analysis in a way that minimizes the risk and maximizes the benefits. First of all, choose the right tool. The first step is you have to conduct a vulnerability scan and analysis is to select the tool, that what type of scanner you are using and what that scanner do. What is that scanner for? It is for database, it is for web applications, or it is for your network. What type of scanner it is? So choose the right tool. The first step is conducting a vulnerability scan and analysis is to select the tools that suits your need and environment. There are many types of vulnerability scanners available, such as there are network scanners, there are web application scanners, there are database scanners or host-based scanners. Now you have to see that what type of data you want to secure, what type of or which part you want to see the weakness and you want to secure it. You have to choose your vulnerability scanner according to that. You should choose the ones that cover the scope and depth of your assessment and that are compatible with your network architecture and devices also. You should also look for tools that have regular updates, comprehensive reports, and reliable support. Second one is plan and schedule your scan. Then at what time you want to scan or at what time intervals you need to scan your that network regularly. The next step is to plan and schedule your scan in advance to avoid disrupting your network operations and business activities. You should consider factors such as the frequency, timing, duration, and scope of your scan, as well as the potential impact on your network performances and availability. You should also communicate with your stakeholders such as network administrators, system owners, and users about the purposes and expectations of your scan and inform them of any possible disruptions or downtime. Now I will ask you a question. If you are doing something like you are making an assignment and at the back end you are running a scan, virus scan, you are scanning your computer. So is it a good option to scan while you are working on your computer? Or if yes, then why? And if no, then why? Answer me.
Miss, can you repeat the question?
Means you are working on your computer. Okay, you are making your assignment on Word or MS Office or PowerPoint, and you on the back end you are running a scanner to scan all of your computer for any viruses. So is it a good option to scan at the back end while you are working or not? Tell me the reason. Is it good? Then why it is good to scan while you are working, and if it is not good, then why it is not good to scan while you are working?
I personally think it's not a good idea to do both at the same time.
Yes,
Because
it's not a good idea, really good. Because if a virus, that antivirus has detect or a scanner has detect some virus on your MS Word or MS Office or the platform that you are working on, what will happen? Maybe that software stop working, right? And all of your data that you haven't saved, for example, can be lost. So plan and schedule your scan when you are not using that software and when it is easy to all in all scan your system. You can easily scan your system without interruption. Okay. Then next one is configure and run your scan. Then third step is you configure and run your scan according to your plan and objectives. Now first you have to plan that at what time I need to scan and then run your scan at that time according to your plan. You should set the parameters and option of your scan such as the target IP address, ports, services, credentials or vulnerabilities to check. You should also choose the appropriate scan mode such as you want a full scan, you want an incremental scan or differential depending on the level of details and completeness you want. You should also monitor the progress and status of your scan and stop or pause it if you encounter any issue or error. Now, normally, I haven't scanned my computer from a long time, but there are, I think there are 3 types of scanners. Like you want to fully scan or a quick scan, I think so. So you have to see that what type of scan you are running or at what time and choose an appropriate time to run your scan. Then analyze and prioritize your result. Now you have to see that what are after your scan is complete, what are the reports? If there are viruses or or it has identified some vulnerabilities, then you have prioritized your vulnerabilities. That if there are 5 types of vulnerabilities, now which weakness you have to focus first? First, you have to focus on that weakness that can cause more loss. So prioritize it according to your result and then work on it. The fourth step is to analyze and prioritize your result after your scan is completed. You should review the reports and data generated by your scan and identify the vulnerabilities that pose the most risk to your network and systems. You should also verify the accuracy and validity of your findings and eliminate any false positive or duplicates. You should then prioritize the vulnerabilities based on their severity, exploitability, impact, and urgency, and assign them to responsible parties for remediation. And when you see any weakness, you first have to see that on what type of people or department I have to send this to fix it. Okay, so after analyzing and prioritize your result, next step is remediate and verify your vulnerabilities. The final step is to remediate and verify your vulnerabilities according to your priorities and resources. You should implement the appropriate actions and solution to fix or mitigate the vulnerabilities, such as applying patches, updates, or configuration, or installing firewalls, antiviruses, or encryption. You should also document and track the status and outcome of your remediation efforts and verify that the vulnerabilities are resolved or reduced. You should also perform a follow-up scan to confirm that no new vulnerabilities have emerged or resurfaced. So after you got the results, the final step will be to see and work on those vulnerabilities. And you should implement or you should update your system or your firewalls or install new antiviruses or do an imbrication for to reduce the risk or to finally fix your weaknesses. And you should also document and track your status of the outcome, that when you have applied those remediations to fix your vulnerabilities or to lower the risk on your vulnerabilities, so how much they have fallen, and verify those vulnerabilities are resolved or it has been reduced. And you should also perform a scan again to confirm that there is no vulnerabilities left. Okay, so do you have any question regarding analyzing or the verification scanner, or you have understood all parts?
No, ma'am, no question.
Miss, can you go down?
I can't listen, please.
Like, Miss, can you go to the other slide?
Yes,
Can you hear me? No, this one, another slide.
this one on the next one.
Wait, let me take a screenshot of that. The last one, Miss, 16, slide 16. Can you explain this, Miss?
When we have from this slide, analyze and prioritize your result. When you have analyzed that what type of weaknesses are there, and then you prioritize them, that which weakness we have to resolve first, which can cause a bigger, I would say, loss of data. After that, you have to solve your weakness then, according to your priorities. Okay, now you have to fix those errors or those weaknesses, or if you can't fix them all in all, at least you should work on it and lower the risk of the vulnerabilities, such as you should make patches of your data, or you should update or configure your security system. You should be installing new firewalls or antiviruses, or you should update them. Okay, and you should also document and track the status and the outcome of your remediation, that after you have worked on your weaknesses, your status, what is your status, either it has reduced or it has fully fixed. And to see this, you should also perform again a scan to confirm that there is no new weakness or no such weakness that can harm your system or your data is again appeared. Okay,
Yes, Miss, got it.
okay. Next is vulnerability verification and reporting. To verify that vulnerability has gone and report it, that the process is fully completed. For let me say that vulnerability verification and reporting is a part of vulnerability management. Now you have to manage those vulnerabilities that they all have gone, and then you have to report it. How do you report? Which is the process of continuously identifying, evaluating, treating, and reporting. Again, you have to go through all of the processes to see that there is no vulnerability left. That's how you will manage your vulnerabilities or your weaknesses. Now, first is how vulnerability management works. Threat and vulnerability management uses a variety of tools and solutions to prevent and address cyber threats. An effective vulnerability management program typically includes the following components. Now, what are the following components that they have to see to manage the weaknesses? First is asset discovery and inventory. IT is responsible for tracking and maintaining records of all devices, software, servers, and more across the company's digital environment. But this can be extremely complex since many organizations have thousands of assets across multiple locations. That's why IT professionals turn to asset inventory management system, which help provide visibility into what asset a company has, where they are located, and how they are being used. You have to see what is the asset or what is the thing that is being a vulnerability to your company, how it is being invented and where it is located, from which or where your company could be destroyed, or who can be a bigger asset or a bigger competitive to you, to your data. Now IT has this type of management system that can locate each and every problem into your system, and that can tell that what you have to invent or what you have to install to fix it. Second is vulnerability scanner. Again, you have to scan your system to see that where is our vulnerability and how we can fix it. Then there is patch management. Patch management software is a tool that helps organizations to keep their computer systems up to date with the latest security patches. Patches mean a small blocks, you can say small blocks of updation, that which part needs updation of your whole system. So you have to update your that part. Most patch management solutions will automatically check for updates and prompt the user when new ones are available. Some patches management systems also allow for deployment of patches across multiple computers in an organization, making it easier to keep large fleets of machines secure. Now, for example, in your computer system, you have many softwares or apps in your mobile or your computer. So patch management will tell you that which software need an updation. Either it can be firewall, it can be antivirus, or it can be your app, your WordPad, your MS Office need updation, or any other application need updation. That is the patch management. Then there is configuration management. Security configuration management, SCM software, helps you to ensure that devices are configured in a secure manner, that changes to device security settings are tracked and approved, and that systems are compliant with security policies. Many SCM tools include features that allow organizations to scan devices and network for vulnerabilities, track remediation actions, and generate reports on security policies complaints. They have to configure that which part of your system needs to upgrade, which parts need to be scanned or tracked, which may have the vulnerabilities, and how to fix that. They include all of these features. They also generate reports on security policies, that this part has weakness and we have upgraded this part, or we have recovered this part. They can generate the report also. Then there is security incident and event management. Now, this software consolidates an organization's security information and events in real time. Now, these solutions are designed to give organization visibility into everything that's happening across their entire digital estate, including IT infrastructure. This includes monitoring network traffic, identifying devices that are trying to connect to internal system, keep track of users' activity, and more. Now, this will tell you that what event or what activity is happening on your system at that time, how much traffic is there, or is someone is trying to enter into your system, from where that activity is happening, and much more. Then there is penetration testing. Penetration testing software is designed to help IT professionals and find and exploit vulnerabilities in computer system. Typically, penetration testing software provides a graphical user interface that makes it easy to launch, attack, and see the results. Some products also offer automation features to help speed up the testing process. By simulating attacks, testers can identify weak spots in systems that could be exploited by real-world attackers. Now, penetration testing is a fast testing that can fastly identify the weak spots into your system and tell you about the new attackers, that what are the new type of attackers in the graphical form. And and that makes easy you to understand by that graphical interface that what type of attacks and what are the results of those attackers or those antiviruses. Then there is threat intelligence. Threat protection software provides organizations with the ability to track, to monitor and analyze the prioritized potential threats to better protect themselves. By collecting data from a variety of resources such as exploit database and security advisors, these solutions help companies identify trends and patterns that could indicate a future security breach or attack. Now, this is the type of intelligence that tells you that what type of new threats are coming and how we are solving them, and what are the solutions, from where you can collect the data, and what are the resources, what are the sources, and how could you save your data and you can update your security purposes. And then there is remediation vulnerability. Remediation involves prioritizing vulnerabilities, identifying appropriate next step, and generating remediation tickets so that IT teams can execute on them. Finally, remediation tracking is an important tool for ensuring that a vulnerability or misconfiguration is properly addressed. Now, to see that what are your vulnerabilities and to prioritize that what is the most harmful weakness you have, and to set that means to solve it, to solve that weakness is remediation. They will prioritize, they will identify the proper appropriate next step, that what next step should you take to prevent those weaknesses or to update those weaknesses or to overcome those weaknesses. And for that, the IT teams are there to execute them. That is the final process. Do you have any question regarding this lecture, this previous slides? Class, do you have any question regarding vulnerability verification and reporting?
Mrs. Better, can you explain the vulnerability again? Can you please explain it again?
Which vulnerability? Remediation vulnerability?
Yes, the first slide, the general.
The first one or the last one?
First one, miss.
How vulnerability management works?
Yes, miss.
This is to tell you that how the vulnerability will be managed, how the weakness of our software will be managed, and how we will recover them. Now, the following, that asset discovery, inventory, and all the points that I have discovered are including in explaining the vulnerability management, that how we will manage those weaknesses and how will we overcome from that weakness. How will we be secured from that weakness? Okay?
Okay, miss.
Now, I'm going to explain you the vulnerability management life cycle. And this is the last part of 1.2. What was the first question? I obviously forgot. The vulnerability of computer network security system in an organization. This is the last part. Now, vulnerability life cycle, how does it work? The management work. The vulnerability management lifecycle has 6 key phases. Organization looking to implement or improve their vulnerability management program can follow these steps. Now, if you have a weakness, now consider a software has a weakness. Now, first we have to discover that weakness. that what is that weakness? What is a threat to our company? What is a threat to our software from where our information could be leaked or we can lose our data? Second will be prioritize your weakness. Assign a value to each asset group that is reflective of its critically. This will help you understand which group needs more attention, which weakness needs more attention. Then you will prioritize that. The third will be assessment. Now you will do a management that how we will overcome or how we will save our data. This allows you to determine which risk to eliminate first based on the variety of factors, including its criticality and vulnerability threat level, as well as classification. Then we will classify our each vulnerabilities and we will see that which vulnerability needs more attention. Then we will report the level of risk that are, for example, we have 5 vulnerabilities. Number 5 vulnerability has more risk. So we will make those vulnerabilities, number 5 vulnerability, our first priority. And we will report that these are our, we will make a document and we will report that these are our vulnerabilities and we need to overcome these vulnerabilities according to their prioritization. Then remediation comes. Now we have to overcome, we have to work on those vulnerabilities and make to fix them. And 6 will be again verification and monitoring that all of our weaknesses are covered, or is there any weakness left? Are they fully covered? Are they fully verified now? We will verify that there is no another vulnerability in our system. All of the vulnerabilities are recovered. And still we will monitor that there will be no more vulnerabilities in the future to come. Okay. And if it comes, then we will again go to phase number 1, discovery. We will see what it is, and that's how whole the life cycle of vulnerability management will go on. Okay.
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 Yes.
Then, so if you have any question, ask me right away. Any questions?
Miss, can you go to, yes, Miss, I have a question.
Yes.
Can you go to the vulnerability slide? Which one was it?
The life cycle one?
Yes, Miss.
Yes.
Can you explain what does phase 2 mean?
What I have to explain? Phase number 1 or phase 2?
Phase 2.
Phase 2 is to see our weaknesses, that what are the main assets, which are the main virus, or what are the main harmful things that can affect our system. We have to prioritize, we have to see, we have to manage it. Assign a value to each asset that, for example, there are 5 weaknesses. Number 5 weakness has is more harmful. So we will give it a first number. The number 5 should be on first. We will prioritize according to their harmful effects. Okay.
Yes, Miss, got it.
Okay. Any other part you want me to explain?
No, Miss.
Okay, good. So revise all the slides, and in the next class, I will ask some questions from this slide, and then I will go for the next topic. Okay.
Okay, Miss.
Okay. Thank you so much, class.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you.